Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, will the real Cavs please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Cavs have been harder to find than Waldo. Have the Warriors gone heel? Some maybe even say rogue. And WWE went extreme over the weekend and more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to Debates Among Friends, live on YouTube and on Twitch. This is the 57th edition of the Sports Podcast on June 6, 2017. We're happy to have you on this Wednesday evening. I am your host, the Professor John Gotti, and always by my side, a man who needs no introductions, but he'll get one anyway, the true king of New York City, Doc Ocean. How you doing tonight, sir?
Can't believe you just went there again. Oh God.
I was gonna go AJ again. I almost did it. I talked to Chris before the show. He wanted me to troll you a little bit, but he was like, you know what? Let's not do it to the good doctor tonight.
That would have been such an unphenomenal thing to do.
I think Chris is walking on eggshells around you right now. So.
He's got an eye in a storm with his name on it.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, I don't know if you heard the chuckling, but we have recruited a new analyst to join us at the debate desk tonight. We got JRich. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud.
Oh.
And I don't think that's capable of being taught.
You can't teach that.
I don't think so. I think Harvard is still trying to figure out if a G can be taught. So, I mean, the debate's still out there. Haha, debates among friends, as what we're doing right now.
That boy good.
Wow. Okay, we went from debates among friends, talking about wrestling, to coming to America. I think that's a great time for us to get straight into our show. We got ourselves a packed night because we're going to give our analysis on Game 1 and Game 2 of the NBA massacre of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You want to know something, sir?
I want to know it.
You remember, let's see, 2 series ago.
2 series ago.
When I said that the Warriors had a 4-game practice against a team that we don't even remember. I think a team that played out of Utah. I don't even know if they're still an NBA team. But I'm just kidding. They are still an NBA team. I just wanted to throw them just now in that statement, but it's okay. It seems like this finals, 2 things is happening so far. Number 1, still looks like practice. Number 2, it shows how weak the Eastern Conference is.
Very, very.
I mean, but is that really much of a surprise, though? Because...
It is.
Really? Is it really a surprise?
I mean, me and Biggie's issue is smaller than that. Oh, I'm sorry. That was another song. I'm sorry. The Cavs are supposed to be...
You know what? Just like Biggie, I'm going to give you one more chance to fix that.
Oh, live and die in L.A. is what's happening to the Cavs.
You know what?
Right now,
you keep coming with the bad puns, I'll be going back to Cali.
Wow. Ambitions of a rodder. But
that tape was mad juicy, sir.
Okay, I see what you did there. Still, I see no changes. All I see is terrible faces. I'm not even going to say the other word, but terrible faces.
I swear if I hear one more pun, I'm going to be ready to die.
Oh, that was a good one. And I was born ready.
Oh, my gosh. Just like your words, you are a true rap phenomenon, Doctor.
Oh my god! But I mean, the Cavs. I mean, come on, man. Like, if "Come On Man" was on ESPN right now, they would be saying, "Come on, man."
We would be on Come On Man, doing the entire show.
It's so terrible. I mean,
so first of all, I'm gonna let you finish. First of all, ESPN, you should probably hire us because you're doing terrible right now.
Yeah, they probably
just
should.
saying.
And I think, I think honestly, I think we would do a better job than Stephen A. Smith, and we would get. I mean, we probably wouldn't get paid as much as Stephen A. to start out, but I think our salaries would increase tenfold.
Normally, this is the time where I usually call out Stephen A. Smith, but I can't, and you'll know why at my final thoughts, so I can't.
Sure.
I want to, but I can't.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not hard being Stephen A. Smith. You just got to meet what a 5 big word minimum for each show.
That's true.
Out there, nobody's heard.
He makes a valid point.
Yes.
He makes a valid point. But I mean, back to the Cavs though. Let's not get off track because you know me, I'll get off track real quick, and we'll be running a marathon. But when I think about this game, it's almost like the Cavs. You remember how last year, every other year that we've covered the finals, not just as debate amongst friends, as basketball fans, how we also used to say, "Man, the fix is in."
I've been known to say that a couple of times.
This is a first year where they can't even fix this. Like,
they don't have the Angel Stern, so that's not going to help them out. They also don't have Joey Crawford refereeing anymore.
I mean, but even still, I mean, I think it would be hard for Steph Curry in his soul to miss more than 3 threes in a game.
I mean, is that exaggerating, or are you really being for real with that statement?
I'm serious. Like, he'd be like, come on, like, that's not really believable. We'd be better off letting Draymond Green miss threes or Klay Thompson miss threes, but even that didn't work. I mean, LeBron scored multiple points. And like I said, I give a lot of credit to LeBron this year because he's really trying. I hate the fact that somebody said that they had to go get Kevin Durant to be the 32-year-old LeBron James when a week ago he was the best player in the world.
Yeah,
I hated that statement.
And that's what the LeBron maniacs, sit there and do would just.
And that's it. That was a LeBron maniac too. I hated that statement because he's supposed to be the best player in the world, and he's just not. He's not leading his team to victory.
It's like people just can't win. If people sit there and offer stats and offer, just unbiased perspective on the NBA. It's the NBA. It's not really all that complicated.
Right. Well, I mean, let's get our new analyst here, JRich. I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to listen, but some of the past shows we've had Q marked on. We had Senor October
making the ladies scream as they. No, I'm not gonna say it, Helen.
No, don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it, Helen, because she already gave me that look already.
I knew it. I knew she was writing you up as we speak.
Oh my goodness!
But
can't let Gotti be Gotti out here.
There were a lot of reads. There were a lot of trolling. I mean, so far this series has been lopsided. What do you think it's going to take for the Cavs to turn it around?
Is Little B online one? Is the base guide curse still out there?
Not on James Harden, at least.
I mean, I think that's the only thing that can save LeBron at this point in time. I mean, it's just too much all around firepower for the Warriors. There's no way that you can contain that whole team. You can just pray for a cold night, but it's not happening. It's not happening.
But you make a good point though. Base God did remove the curse on Durant too.
Did he?
He did.
He removed. Oh, I did see that. He removed it on like a first take or something, right?
Well, no. That's what he did for James Harden. He removed the curse Kevin Durant after he was crying after that finals loss. Actually, he removed the curse for Kevin Durant years ago.
I mean,
wow.
so
LeBron's in trouble.
Is a lifted curse supposed to come into effect immediately, or does it take a couple of years? Kind of like interest rate for student loans.
Yikes.
I went there.
Yikes. I can't believe you did that. But continue on, sir. The base God curse is a relevant point. Definitely relevant. and it has been removed. And if it hasn't been removed, I mean, KD is trolling the base god himself.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's from California, right? I mean, it would kind of be redundant to curse your own state, so
True.
to speak. Gotta let that thing go. But I mean, right now the way that Kevin Durant is playing, you can tell he has a chip on his shoulders, and I don't think you can match his hungry right now.
I agree. I think, and we used to we used to say you got to be hungry, LeBron. If you remember the little puppets, and then Spike Lee. But it's like now you got to be hungry, KD.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta be
mean,
hungry, Durantula.
Tarantula. And I
Oh,
mean,
be top five worst nicknames ever. I hated that name.
but he's starving.
What
But
was
he,
Sleep Reaper?
oh god, but he is starving out there. I mean, you got to admit he's starving.
He is
He
starving.
is.
And I don't blame him either. Like I said, I don't blame people to want to win. But the thing that I have an issue with, and we talked about this earlier, is
Hmm.
the hypocrisy of the NBA landscape when it comes to judging players for their business moves to better their own selves and their own legacies.
Sure.
Like, case in point, there was an article yesterday, and we talked about this yesterday, where people was chastising Steph Curry for laying down with a towel over his head when he was on the bench.
Well, game one,
Yeah.
he had a booger. Am I the only one that saw that?
Reasons aside to why he
I'm
did it,
serious.
the issue
No,
that I
I'm
had with it
serious.
was, people are quick to try to, vilify him for doing that, but, people
For having a
laughed
booger?
off the LeBron James bottle flip incident.
Listen, if you go back to the tape,
Go back to the tape.
and I was paying attention because I was like, man, he's, he scratched his nose the first time, but then so that he wouldn't be gross on TV, national TV, when the camera could be on him at any time, he put the towel over his head to pick a booger.
Um, all I can
And I'm
think
like,
of
I don't know. I
is
don't,
getting gold underneath the covers. Oh my
and I,
gosh, that's like a new Isley brother song
I
right
mean,
there or something.
he was literally a Golden State Warrior.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I
I don't
can't
know
believe.
about
So you
that one.
guys, you guys didn't.
See, I don't know if it's Golden State. That's more of a 49ers thing.
Oh my god,
You know,
he was digging
Gold
for
Rush,
gold. I'm
digging for
telling you.
gold. I don't know the Warriors going to work for that one.
So you guys didn't see when he was like scratching his nose a little bit.
No, I seen it,
I
but
don't.
like I don't care about stuff like that. And then
But
that's on the media for sitting there and putting a camera on his freaking face.
that's why he put the towel over his head.
Oh
No,
no, no,
seriously,
I get it, I get
I
it. But
saw it.
I'm just talking
I
about just
get
the
it as well.
hypocrisy part of
That's
it.
a hell
Can
of
we
an
talk about the
answer.
hypocrisy part of it?
But it's one of those situations where it's LeBron James, and I'm going to ask a very important question later on when we get closer to wrestling. But when has LeBron ever did anything really wrong?
I mean, other than
Mm.
crying when he beat the Celtics,
The decision,
the the the
keeping
decision,
his hair,
Was it
allowing that
decision? Hold on
once
here.
again.
Hold on. Well, I mean,
Uh,
but let's think about it though. Was it the decision or was it
it was the
more of?
tact of him making the decision was more wrong than the actual decision itself.
yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at him for wanting to go get the championship. Do what you got to do. I'm not mad at anybody for going out there and wanting to get the ring. It can make for boring TV a little bit when you have just a few powerhouses in the league and everybody else is just kind of spectators. But it's your legacy. You have to do what you got to do. And I mean, who wouldn't do what LeBron James or Kevin Durant did if we were in their shoes?
True.
I mean, I'm not gonna
I
play
think
devil's advocate, but I definitely wouldn't. If I was in the
I
league,
think
I actually want to beat the best, and I
you
can't do it by joining up. If they want to join me, that's their own decision. But
and
I'm
I could
not going to do
definitely
it.
understand both perspectives. I mean, I think he really ultimately wanted to get out of Oklahoma City. And that makes sense to me. I don't blame him. I would. It was just hard. I mean, he could have went to the Spurs, which I know Q-Mart would have loved.
I would have
Um,
loved that.
yeah,
Huge Spurs fan over
you would
here.
have loved that. He could have went to the Rockets, which I would have loved.
Terrible.
And I also just sent you guys a picture of the nose picking, by the way, just to make sure you guys can see it. But if you look on the chat there, I just posted a picture of the nose picking just to make sure that
I don't know
I
whether to
wasn't.
be impressed or disgusted there.
I'm
That you
just trying
have
to
that
push
moment.
that light on the. I'm just trying to shed light on the hypocrisy of it because literally he was just trying not to show that he's picking his nose.
Well, that
It's
wasn't the
crazy.
picture I was. That wasn't the image I was talking about. But I see it now. Okay.
I mean, Did he have that blue towel on his head?
No, it was a white towel.
Then that must be game two then, because game one he had this blue towel on.
Yeah, I was talking about game 2.
Gotcha. But carry on, sir.
Me?
I believe
Either.
he was making a point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I pointed out that I posted the picture.
I was just trying to see what everyone's, feeling about just why. I guess this leads to the next question then. Why is the people, because we're for the people, we provide the facts for the people here on Debates Among Friends.
Absolutely.
Why the people and the media, not us at Debates Among Friends, but the rest of the media, are trying to vilify, make the Warriors the villains of the NBA?
Because Kevin Durant joined them.
Hmm. I think that not to try to knock everybody who's upset about that situation, because I think that, in my personal opinion, I think him and LeBron James are both in the same boat for what they did.
Right.
There's little minor minuscule differences on what they did, but I mean, I think more so these are probably the two best players that we've ever seen pull a move like this.
Absolutely.
If it's we think about the Celtics and the Lakers who really started this whole thing in the early 2000s.
True.
Even you can even go back to Houston when they brought in Barkley and Pippen to
I don't know. You don't know.
you can go
Say
back that far.
okay. Now you lost me. Cause come on,
Did that was like a little bit? I'm sorry.
yeah, that's a rough one. I mean, I could see it. We're talking about bringing in. I would say that the Rockets were closer to what Boston did, but even that, wasn't a hey, us three guys in the summer, let's try to make this happen. And even with Durant, it wasn't hey, let's try to make this happen. It was like I'm gonna make my decision based on where I think I can win a championship. Where
Absolutely.
LeBron got with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in South Beach and said, guys, we all separately cannot compete with the Celtics or Detroit at the time because Detroit was still, up there. And it's like, we need to come together.
Mm-hmm.
So you destroy Cleveland, you destroy Toronto, which is not hard to do.
I was going to say Toronto destroyed itself.
And then you come together, and then you go on national TV and say we're not going to win one, but 19 titles together, and you fail to do so, and then you leave and go home, a la Forrest Gump. I'm tired now. I think I'm gonna go home.
So why aren't we making him a bigger villain because of those past transactions leading to now? Once again, last year everyone gets a bye because it was a feel-good story. He came home. They almost made it to the promised land. They couldn't get the job done because the Warriors was too good.
Right.
And
they were
for some
too good
reason
in
they
their current
overhyped
state.
Matthew Dellavedova. So the
Wait a
very
minute, they
next
were
year,
too good in their own state. In that current state, they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you know what they say. You got to be able to win both at home and away.
But you also got to be bold to wear that gold.
You got to be bold
And
to
Kevin
win the
Durant,
gold, boys. Yes.
and Kevin Durant made a bold move. I mean, a move that brought him criticism. People praised and was so happy to see him go down with an injury.
Yep.
I mean, I even heard reports that he catches bullets with his teeth.
Stop it. Stop it. Chris, that's one warning right there. That is one warning right there. It's not happening tonight.
I'm just saying. I mean, catches bullets with his teeth. I mean, come on, Ninja Plus. I'm just saying. I mean, he's out there, and honestly, I really think now that I look at it, a lot of these injuries that some of these guys have, and I think we talked about this in maybe 10 episodes ago about resting players in the couple years to come and how people were going to have to get real creative with injury reports.
Yep.
So that they wouldn't get fined, because I think that's what we were talking about, fining players. And I don't know if Kevin Durant was really hurt. He might have just been, making us all marks.
Uh-oh. Don't you start that right now.
But to answer your question, to me, I think LeBron builds school for inner city kids. He drives a Kia in the commercial. He doesn't tell us to drink Sprite. He would just ask us. I mean, ultimately...
ultimately, he just can't do no wrong?
Yeah, I mean, what can LeBron do wrong? Only thing that's wrong with LeBron is his hairline.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's flopping.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, he is the true flopper of our generation. When it comes to flopping, he is the Reggie Miller.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. I will say, and of course, and then I'll mute myself because I feel like, doing that thing again where I just keep running my mouth. But I feel like when I look back, the biggest disappointment, I would say, to a person joining another team, to me, has always been Ron Artest joining Kobe in the Lakers. After the wars that they used to go through. I hated it. Still burns me up when I think about it, because I know Ron Artest hated the Lakers. He hated everybody on the Lakers. But I guess when you got to do what you got to do. So in this situation with LeBron leaving, then coming back, I know it burns you up because of how everybody welcomed him back in open arms after he basically went and, he got married, slept with their sister, and then decided to come back. Set the house on fire. And then decided, hey, I'm sorry, let me give you a hut. And then I'll build a fortress on this hut. And then carry on. But with Kevin Durant, he just made a free agent decision to win championships. And I think people have just gotten an endless supply of Morton salt that they daily take salt baths in. This salt is so real.
The salt is on the left of them, the right of them, in the air and on the ground. They can taste the salt everywhere. Salt is all around.
That's my take on it. I mean, I don't know. I just can't wait to ask my question later on when we get closer to wrestling.
Ask the question now.
I mean, it's going to be... I mean... Who do you think will do wrong first in this situation between LeBron James and Roman Reigns? The LeBronomaniacs versus the Romanites.
Who would do wrong first?
Who's more likely to lose fan support in this situation? Because, people who like Roman really, really, really like Roman. Like, all trolling aside, all four eyes aside.
Yeah. I mean, they really,
Yeah, like Vince McMahon pumping his fist.
Going, throat deep on this jockstrap.
Oh, there you go. I think that's what you said last week. And Helen...
I'm sorry, Helen. It had to happen. Here. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
It's the facts. I have to tell them the truth.
Yikes.
If I don't tell them the truth, they'll never learn.
But
Guess
Jay
I'm
Rich,
a
what do you?
who doesn't have a problem with Roman Reigns, maybe.
I may or may not
Let me
have a
take that
job
back.
next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me take that back. All right, it's I don't hate Roman Reigns. I think that he's a better athlete than people give him credit for. I think he's got a better move set than most power wrestlers that I've seen in the last couple of years.
Oh,
Oh, that
I
made
mean,
my stomach hurt a little bit.
I
really?
mean,
I literally almost threw up.
now think of true power guys.
Uh,
Think of true power guys in the WWE for the last 5 years. True power guys
I mean, that's a
and
handicap
guys
by
that do
itself,
maneuvering.
though.
it is.
It's
But
a
continue.
handicap. I mean, the only person that I could say that has more moves than him, if you really want to throw him into the powerhouse realm, would be Cesaro. But Cesaro is more of a technical than power. I mean, he's a great mix of both.
Yeah.
But
I mean, try to tell us to use the last 5 years is basically making Roman Reigns look like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Honestly, I think that. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head here. I mean, I would so rather see Rusev pushed than Roman,
Rusev has a better moveset than Roman.
and he's a powerhouse.
Rusev does like not even four moves. It's the kick and the accolade, and that's it.
I
Well,
mean, he's a
now,
Machka.
well, that's what he
He
does
also threw
now.
Machka.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's got the spin wheel kick too. He's got three moves.
I mean, it's a Superman punch, though. I mean, come on.
Does like 50 of them a night. But hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. We're getting off track. Let's finish up
That's
basketball
why.
before we get into
See,
wrestling.
that's why I didn't want to ask the question.
Hold on, because I felt like we're gonna finish up with wrestling and really talked about the finals. Like the finals is a big deal. Like despite what
That's
people
why I said
may believe
you didn't
here, we're trying to
You wanted
make
me
it,
to ask the question.
and we did, and we answered it. However,
We didn't.
we
we
will
didn't really answer it.
reapproach this subject once let's finish up basketball. Let's do
I was
that
trying
first.
to, and the Professor John Guy, the King Ron G, master, the data analyzing ninja himself, wanted me to ask the question.
And you did, and we answered it. So now we can move on.
Well, we really didn't answer it, but we'll get back to it. Now. We'll get back to it. But I mean, I guess we got to really talk about why the Warriors are now the villains, and obviously it's because of Durant. But what could he do?
It's
Did it really
not
matter?
just Durant. It started with the team actually winning 73 games last year too.
See, I don't know. You think about it like this: when they won 73 games, they weren't villainized because they didn't win the championship. Had they won the championship, oh, they would have been Shawn Michaels WrestleMania coming down in that little thing.
I think they were villainized a little bit because of who the 73 win season was compared to and who they tried to put that team above.
And that never works.
You don't go against Jordan. What did JR say back in the day? You don't tug on Superman's cape.
You
Yeah, he
don't
did
piss in the
say
wind.
that.
Yep.
Oh God.
You don't compare people to Michael Jordan.
And that's just another thing within itself. But I mean,
And we're gonna get to that one too. And I'm glad that you prelude to that, Doctor.
yeah,
We're gonna
I'm glad
get
you
there.
did. But I mean, honestly, I think when I think about the Warriors this year, you remember when Shawn Michaels used to be like Intercontinental Champ, and then he got his push to be Heavyweight Champ. He always used to walk with that confidence and that swagger because he had either Big Daddy Cool behind him or Sid Vicious behind him, even that pissant Triple H behind him. I mean, that's kind of what's happening with the Warriors now because number one, they were walking tall when, hey, we got all these shooters behind us. You got Splash Brothers and Princess Peach. And then you got, you bring in Big Daddy Cool, the Tarantula, the Slim Killer. And now you got somebody behind you who can do it all. He can post, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can pass. I mean, heck, the boy can even punt the football. Sorry, I just went too far on that one.
Yeah. I was gonna let you run with it and see like when you're gonna realize that was just too far. So
Yeah, I'm
like
sorry.
we almost stopped the stream after that comment.
Yeah.
But I told Chris don't do it.
That was a Booby Miles, from Friday Night Lights reference, but nobody got it. It's cool. It's cool. That's my bad, people. It's my bad. But I mean, ultimately, he's their Big Daddy Cool, their vicious, that dominant player. He's their LeBron. And they had a team full of stars. I mean, Steph Curry, I think somebody made the point. He'd been in the league a couple years before we really even noticed him. Same with Klay Thompson until they just started really knocking down their threes.
This is true.
Not
really knocking down the three, but when they started just to win more games. Like, they went back-to-back 50-plus wins.
I mean, in those years when he first was there, they were winning 40-something games.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it took the firing of Mark Jackson to open our eyes, and now we feel like, Mark Jackson's the Tony Dungy of basketball.
I think that's only you. I think you literally said that.
Wow.
Wow. 20 episodes ago.
Wow. I mean, some people believe me. I think Mark said the same thing. He's the Tony Dungy of basketball.
I'm not disagreeing with it. But here's where I think they're starting to get vilified. And it starts from last year, as I previously mentioned. I don't know if you remember this, Doctor, but I always try to keep on track with the Twitch streams and the Twitters and, the Facebooks, at Debates Among for www.facebook.com/debatesamongfriends and twitch.tv/debates among friends. But
you said that just
during the pace of last year, I'm looking at it and I'm hearing people saying, we don't want to see Steph Curry back in the finals. We're tired of him already. But he's only been in the finals 1 year.
Well, he's too good in the finals. He shoots too good.
Really?
They want to take him out. They want to take him out the game because he's shooting too good.
Really? Because I looked at the numbers and he really played, also ran, like almost towards that terrible factor. This year is totally different. But the last 2 years, he was not as much of a factor as people want to believe.
I mean, he balls out though. I mean, that's the one thing about him, and I think
and he competes, and that's something that I love about the game of basketball. People go out there and they compete.
I mean, but honestly,
at the same
I really
time,
don't know.
The biggest issue was it was that swag, as both gentlemen on the stream alongside me has previously mentioned. It was the swag that they brought upon themselves, especially after they won the title. During that 73-win season, they had a confidence in them, a moxie.
I mean, John Gotti, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a follow-up question.
Ask Gotti.
Because I used to be a
hashtag Ask Gotti, ladies and gentlemen. Put that there.
I used to be a 3-point marksman myself when I was a non-pissant.
Yes, you was not the kind of person who scream out pager.
Oh yeah, we don't mention those people because they airball and scare birds and stuff. But
that was two different people. I get what you mean.
We can blend them. They are blended now.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But if you could shoot like Steph Curry, I mean, wouldn't you feel like you're walking around with Sid Vicious and Diesel behind you?
Yeah, I mean,
come on. If you could shoot like him, I mean, you would be walking around literally like.
Well, it also doesn't really help that people don't close out him hard enough either. I mentioned that to B-Ball Breakdown after game 2. Like, where's the defense? No one's pushing up.
I think we mentioned that though in the preview.
And we did mention that in the preview. Me being a defensive-minded player for when I play basketball, if there's a shooter who has that kind of Steph Curry kind of swagger, and they're not on Steph Curry's level. And sure. I'm not trying to say this to entice these people to go me to come back to playing so they can try to destroy me.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
But my point is, you have a shooter that's like that, you make it more uncomfortable. That's why you have elite defenders like a Tony Allen or Bruce Bowens who can, fly and kick people in the face.
And I think that's why
But
in the
like,
pre-show, and
but like,
I think we
if
agreed.
if it changes the dynamic of the game, and definitely calling out Iman Shumpert because he's supposed to be the defensive specialist of the team. As soon as Steph Curry gets the ball,
Stop,
Yeah.
stop, stop. That's a technical foul,
it
sir.
is a
You can't
technical
call
foul.
out on you,
It is a technical
on
foul.
you, because you got no. I'm cutting you off. I'm
No, no, no.
cutting you
Let me
off right
finish.
now.
Let me
No,
finish
no, I
my
can't.
point.
I
Hold on.
cannot let
Let
you
me
finish.
finish the
I
point. Hold
cannot.
on. Hold on.
Oh, let me mute myself. I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh my goodness. So to my point, as a defensive player, and I'm only calling out Iman Shumpert because he's supposed to be the defensive specialist for the Cavs. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that he's doing his job in these finals, because he's not. In fact, pretty much the bench did nothing to really, garner any kind of attention from me. I mean, in fact, they've been pretty garbage, if you ask me. But as a defensive player, if you have an elite scorer like that, your job is to make it harder for him. They're not doing this for either Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. My tactics would be, as soon as they catch the ball, I am crowding them before they even take a dribble. That way, when they go for a shot, it's not within rhythm for them. And even if it's in rhythm and they make it, it's not going to be easy. You can unmute yourself now, sir.
No, JRich, you go. No,
Oh
you
my
go.
goodness.
Oh, I mean, I think that Iman Shumpert is a prime example of when you're not good of an offensive player, that they just throw that defensive player label on you, so to speak. Who has he ever locked up?
Oh, Andre Roberson. Oh, Andre Roberson.
Oh, not Mr. 2 and 21. What was it? Mr. 2 and 21.
Oh gosh.
Oh
See, if
my
he was
goodness.
2 and 27, we can start using the "Moving On Up" theme song for him.
But I think he's one of those guys. Like it baffles me. There's so many of these guys that come along that play the perimeter position. Play 2 or 3 that can't really score. So teams just try to throw them out there as a defensive specialist. Who was the guy that played in Utah about 15 years ago that everybody tried to label the Kobe stopper?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Shoot, it's not Maxwell.
Is that Russell?
Yes,
Russell?
Brian Russell.
Byron Russell, yes. Kobe Bryant had one off game when Byron Russell was defending him, and all of a sudden he's the Kobe stopper.
Actually, there was multiple people who was called Kobe stoppers. There was another guy in Minnesota who was called that as well. I don't remember his name, but there was another guy who was actually being called a Kobe stopper.
I can't remember that one.
I mean, everybody who can't score is not a defender. I don't even know if Iman Shumpert has locked up Tiana Taylor yet.
Wow.
I think these.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow.
I'm surprised that he still has a spot on the team. I mean, I'm convinced that I'm convinced he's still in money.
Well, I mean, according to I'm on the Supreme Dream 1, I mean, he lost his ring already and got kicked out of the locker room, so.
I'm literally on the sideline, jumping up and down, waiting for someone to me in. I can save the match here.
You know what, Doctor? I'm giving you the hot tag. Get in there.
Oh my God! And Doc Ocean comes in and he says, "You guys are out of your minds." Shump is the only guy out there at least trying to play defense. Number one, the Cavs are trying, and I think that's what we're going to see.
Not named LeBron James. You should say not named LeBron.
But LeBron is out there, and LeBron, number one, is a murderer. We all know that. Gets away with murder out there. So he doesn't really have to play defense because he's allowed to actually play 90s style of basketball in the 2000s. So it's kind of unfair to
he was kind of trucking Steph Curry a couple of times.
Yeah, like he's playing 90s basketball in the 2000 era, and they're just not caught. But The problem with the Cavs, and the reason why you guys are saying that Iman Shumpert isn't playing defense, even though he really is, and I thought he did a great job on whoever he was covering when they weren't running the fast break. If we're calling anyone out, it's the other two shooting guards. We're talking about J.R. Smith, and we're talking about that 3-point marksman that was supposed to come in and be the
Kyle
Warriors. Yeah, Kyle Korver, he's supposed to be the Warriors, you know, they met their match, and he really hasn't.
Well, this also goes
still
back to the
starting?
reason that why you should never depend on people on the waiver wire all the time.
But he was on the waiver wire. They traded for
I
him. I think
know,
a second round pick.
but the
They got
problem
Darrell
is
Williams.
well, they got Kyle Korver for basically nothing, and it looks
I
like
mean,
Atlanta actually made a heck of a deal now.
yes, he's worth nothing. He doesn't play no defense. He can hit free throws. I mean, you say with free throw championships. I mean, I guess that's he's
It
supposed to win
does, but he
championships
only went to the free throw line once.
It was. I guess that was enough for them to warrant a second round pick.
That's terrible.
But in my argument though, I think the major problem with the whole series so far for the Cavs is they're trying to play into a stop transition offense, but that's not the game that they play, which is why you see weak games from Tristan Thompson and not Kevin Love. Like Kevin Love's going back to his 20 and 20 days, where before it was Tristan Thompson because they want Tristan Thompson to run the floor and get back on defense to try to stop the fast break.
Yep.
But clearly that's not working because they're still giving up over 120 points per game, which makes it look stupid. But you've seen J.R. Smith move out of the way of a train. LeBron played the best transition defense at 2-on-1 opportunity. I thought that was the best, sign of defensive progression.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I got nothing. I don't think you guys should sit here and bash that Tiana Taylor loving Iman Shumpert with his braid hawk that he has.
I see what
I
you did
think
there.
I think he's doing a pretty good job out there for the 10 minutes that he gets to play. It's a valuable 10 minutes too. And he hits a couple of shots. I mean, he's no Andre Iguodala or anything. A couple shots.
But the problem is a couple of shots not going to help him win the game.
For his 10 minutes, it's going to help them as much as they possibly can.
Really? Because, I mean, the Warriors can basically, quadruple that score in the same amount of time.
Yeah. But there's no iron team. I mean, come on.
There is no
like
iron team. But you're saying, he got there 10 minutes and, got him a couple of points. Okay, a couple of points. Let's give him 3 points. But
that was the whole key. That was the whole keys to victory is the bench scoring. I mean, I'm not saying he's got to go out there and drop 20, but the bench
in Game 1 was abysmal. The bench in Game 2
they need to start him.
Was forgettable because it washed with the Warriors bench.
That's why they need to start him and let JR and that other pissant come off the bench.
Hilarious. Which, of course, that's going to the next subject. What will the Cavs do heading into Game 3 tomorrow? Which is
they
why
have to
we're
bench JR. He's
live
nothing
tomorrow. Well, we're not going to be live tomorrow because we're going to watch the game.
Right. He looks like he's the one smoking weed in the locker room.
Oh, you did not just go there. Oh, my gosh. We're going to get there as soon as we finish. JRich, what do you think the Cavs need to do to get back in the series tomorrow?
I think that right now, I've heard that Shumpert is supposed to actually start this game. I think that I think he just gives a different look. I'm not praising his defense or any of his ability or lack of.
Praise it.
But I think that you have to give different looks in this situation. I think that you have to really have to get some other guys involved in the offense. I think that Channing Frye is going to have to show up. I mean, you need everybody to show up in this game.
McFry.
I mean, who? And Kyrie's definitely got to show up. He's definitely got to show up.
Kyrie needs to have a much better game than what he has.
I hated the fact that they said that he had a unconvincing 19 points. I mean,
which by itself is stupid.
Points.
Like, first of all, he is the best dribble to the whole, point guard in the league, period. Like, straight up representing New Jersey to its
Yeah.
core. Like, he's doing stuff that we've seen for years out on the street.
Definitely.
But for
I don't know.
me, I believe what the Cavs need, and this is going to be controversial and definitely create some cash, they need to help someone great. They need to help, that's going to get the team riled up and going. They need the Nature Boy Ric Flair to go into the Warriors locker room and start punching the Warriors like he punched the Warriors fans, according to articles.
Wow, I can't believe you went there. That might fuel the fire, and they think that he's a Cavs fan.
He is a Cavs fan.
Now they're gonna blow him out by 15 times.
Now you see, it would be hilarious if Steph Curry does the Ric Flair strut after hitting a three.
Oh, that would be but they would villainize him. He would be an even bigger villain. Because he did the Rockets kick.
The Rockets.
They were saying,
I was like, wait, Rocketeers?
You know what I meant. Don't be a pissant.
I'm just here giving the people the stats, sir.
No, there's no stats there. There was no numbers. It was just words. He gave word stats. That's just not how it works. But anywho, yeah, I think the key to victory is it's got to be the bench. The bench. They had Dellavedova. He was the spark. I'm telling you, they should have just ponied up the money and gave it to him. Because now they bring in Darren Williams. Like I said, he shows flashes of 10 years ago, but then you realize that it's not 10 years ago, and then he falls flat on his face. Like, every time he takes a shot, I just be like, man, that guy used to have so much talent. But then it's like, so did a lot of other people, and they're no longer in the league.
Paul Pierce kind of killed the last little bit of leftover talent that he had when he said that he wasn't able to step up into the spotlight. I think that was pretty much the end of Darren Williams at that point.
It's true. It's damn
but
true.
The problem is that's kind of his career in a whole, though.
I can't say that. I mean, Darren Williams is really good. Where he messed up was when he was in Utah, that place, that team that we don't know really still exists. I think it's karma, man. It's got to be karma.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, come on. It's got to be karma, man. I mean, because his career has not been the same since
he left.
that incident.
Yeah.
Since Jerry Sloan was relieved of his duties, his career has never been the same.
His career took a downward spiral.
Straight down. Hell, fire, and brimstone.
So, that being said, and we did our analysis of the two games, and we talked about what the Cavs need to do. Who wins Game 3? JRich, we go to you first.
I'm going to say that Cleveland wins Game 3. Just because, I mean, I think that they're going to come out feeling like this is a game that they need to capitalize on. I think they're going to come out with a lot more passion in this game than they have in the previous two. And I think that they're going to come out the gate and try to punch him in the mouth first quarter.
Doctor?
John Gotti.
I'm asking you. What
do you
think?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, sir. I mean, I always go. You go.
Well, just like I said in my prediction video, I said the Cavs will win one game, and this will be the game. This is the desperation game, gentlemen, where the Cavs need to lay it all out in the line, and they need to show that they have heart.
You said they can't have that.
No, they need to. And this is going to be the game where it's going to happen because they're home. They feel more energized. This is the game where the bench finally plays like there's no tomorrow, because there really isn't. So the Cavs will win Game 3 in a grinder.
I think the Cavs lose in a grinder. They go down 3-0. Then LeBron does some yelling and says that things are going to have to change. Going to be threatening people's jobs, like he always does.
I'm going back to Miami.
No, it's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be more of things are gonna have to change, before he resigns with the team, or before he decides, he might want to just hang it up and go play baseball since he's compared to Jordan so much. I
Oh
mean,
my
anything could
gosh.
happen.
That's
anything,
next. We're gonna do that next.
yeah, anything could happen though, because I mean, when you think about it, it's really like I just don't think they've got it. Like
Well, you said
as
it's
much as
supposed
I
to be
want to,
6. So are you trying to say
yeah,
that the Cavs gonna win game 4 and 5?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, no, 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 no. I think we were saying well, yeah, I did say six.
You said
I would
6.
say that they were going to win 4 or 5, maybe steal one, and it go. See, now the way they're playing, I don't know. I mean, that was just a pre-show. I mean, I don't know if they could win 2 in a row, because I mean the Warriors haven't lost at all, and I was giving them the benefit of the doubt just because they're the Cavs and they dominated the East so badly until I realized
But
that
that's why
I'm
you
so
never
crazy to
believed
the
the
East.
hype, bro.
But of course, you also got to keep in mind that Kyrie was playing out of his mind all playoffs. But I guess when you think about the weaker competition, I guess it doesn't
Hmm.
really matter. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the Warriors might end this either in a sweep or in 5. I don't think the Cavs can win 2 in a row against this high-powered offense and a hungry, starving Kevin Durant.
Okay, so is it a hot take? Is it a hot take if we say that this is the greatest playoff team of all time if they sweep the Cavs?
No,
No,
no, no, no,
no, it's
no,
not.
no, no. This is the best team LeBron's ever faced, and I think he said it. Honestly, I mean, even though he's still playing and he's still trying, you can see a little bit of quit in the eyes of the other players, and that's why I respected when he went into the locker room after game one and was kind of standing there and shaking everybody's hand and say, "Hey, we got one more game," and then they came back out and got shellacked again, and they
Yep.
showed that picture of LeBron in a sunken place on the bench, sweating and just looking like that lady was doing that little thing with the tea, and he was done.
Oh, it was like one of that memes where it was like when the girl just keeps on going after the fact.
Yep, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yes,
That's
he's
right.
just trying to find a way to get out. No,
It's
Oh,
no.
possible.
it is
It's
possible.
possible.
Or
Don't. Once again,
looking at a way for
after he
somebody
brought
else
a
to get out.
championship to Cleveland, he has nothing else to prove. So he can
He
leave
can
without the hate that he got the first time, which is why I
technically.
had my rant about the Cleveland Nation.
I mean, technically, he can go play for the Browns now too.
Technically, he can go play with the Warriors.
No,
Don't put that at
You
don't.
know what? That would
no.
ruin it for me. That would be the
Yeah,
last straw.
that's not going to happen. They would have to get rid of so many people. And then why would you get rid of Draymond Green, who's a young up and coming, star? Because he's the only person that they could possibly get rid of to even
Maybe
come
LeBron
close to.
take less. Maybe he'll pull a Spurs mentality and take less money.
No, he's not
No.
going.
Let's
He's
we say this
I,
now, but then if it
no,
happens, like it's gonna be completely
no,
unbelievable. I'm just saying this is a
no,
possibility.
no, 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 no,
I'm gonna stop you off
no.
right now. I'm gonna cut you off right now. But let's talk about
Um,
the other hot take. The
sure.
Jordan LeBron comparisons still continues.
Which you
And
can't do. I
and and,
think
and I
JRich
for
mentioned.
it's
one
not.
I for one am getting tired of it. But I wanna get our guest initial take on this ongoing debate that's been going on for years. Even before LeBron put on his first NBA uniform as a professional ball player.
I mean, I'd never liked the comparison. And naturally, I mean, any guy who comes in and is great is going to be compared to Jordan. If we remember last year or 2 years ago, they were comparing Steph Curry to Jordan. Um, but I think that it's not fair to compare the two. Because of different eras, and I think the number one reason why it's not fair to compare the two, is because LeBron James is not remotely close to the same type of player Michael Jordan is. Uh, it would be like comparing Michael Jordan to Shaq almost. It's It doesn't make sense. If you compare to Michael, if you're comparing LeBron James to you're comparing him to Magic Johnson, okay, I can agree with that. If you're comparing him to Penny Hardaway, I can agree with that. But just Jordan is not the same player. He's not the same player. Um, and honestly, I mean, not a huge LeBron fan, but he's definitely top three all time. Definitely top three. No agreement on that? No?
I mean,
No?
uh, I could agree with that. I mean, number one, I think that for me, Kareem will always be my number one. I just don't think anytime you can take a guy, in college, a young age, and say, hey, you're dunking on us, and we don't really like that. We're gonna take away the dunk. You got to beat us another way. And all of a sudden, you develop a sky hook. A sky hook, JRich.
Yeah, I mean,
And then, you win championships and then you go to the NBA and then you dominate more. You go to a team that was okay. You went to Milwaukee first. It was okay, But you dominate there. Then you go to the Lakers, you dominate there. I mean, to me, he's one of the greatest. I know, we always talk about Walt and, a whole bunch of people. Jordan, obviously you got to throw Kobe up there, Tim Duncan. Yeah, a lot of guys to throw up there. But I would say LeBron is top three. I can agree with that. Um, I just think the comparison between LeBron and Jordan is like when they used to compare Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. Completely different people. They just happen to both play baseball and football. And this is just another situation. I mean, Bo could do everything. Deion could do everything. I don't know if Deion could play basketball and stuff, but Deion was a very, very athletic person. LeBron can play basketball. Probably one of the most athletic people to ever play basketball. Jordan, one of the most prolific scorers, one of the most intense defenders, one of the most competitive players to ever play the game.
mm-hmm.
LeBron does not have that same fire that Jordan had. And
Not at all.
and he played against an Eastern Conference that was worth more than the Charmin that they wiped their butts with. Because right now, the people that he's playing against are not worth the Charmin that they wipe their butts with. I mean, and that's it. I mean, they're just not good. The competition is not good. So whenever you put those stats, people put these stats up. Oh, hey, when Jordan was 32, he had 3 championships. When LeBron's 32, he has 2. Oh, LeBron's the GOAT because he has more MVPs and more All-Star voting. But it's like you're playing against weaker competition. I mean, he's playing against Jamison Crowder. He's, you know what I mean? Like, in the East, think about when Jordan was playing. And Jordan had to play against a young Kobe. He had to play against a young Iverson. He had to play against a tough Knicks team with John Starks, Allen Houston.
Charles
He had to
Mm-hmm.
play
Oakley.
against
The young Orlando
Latrell
Magic.
Sprewell, a young Magic team with Shaquille Mother flipping O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. And you're talking about Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder.
We're talking about Otto Porter. Come on, man. Even DeMar DeRozan.
See, for me, my biggest issue is the fact that they're only taking selective stats and comparing
Very
it with
selective.
Jordan. Like, they're not comparing everything. A few weeks ago, I posted, a side-by-side comparison of their playoff stats. That was adjustments, and it showed that Jordan, reigned supreme, while LeBron James and the LeBron Maniacs put more stats into it. Fun fact, LeBron James never won a Defensive Player of the Year. Michael
True.
Jordan has. And, me, I'm a defensive guy, so I'm looking at the defensive side. Remember, he's the best athlete ever.
Right.
Best athlete ever in the NBA. We could all agree with that, correct?
Who you think taught him to pin the ball at the backboard, though? Seriously.
I mean, a lot of people. A lot of people.
I had never seen anybody pin the back. I mean, maybe I'm not a basketball connoisseur like the Professor John Guy, the King of RG, the Troll Master, the Data Line, the Lights Ninja. But the first
Chris,
person I've
that's
ever
two.
seen.
That's two, Chris.
That counted? I can't believe that counted. The first person that I ever seen pin a ball on the backboard was Michael Jordan. I had never seen it before. And I could be wrong.
I seen Hakeem do it once. I seen Bill Russell do it. Mind you, these are older films that I'm watching, but I've seen it before. But
Gotcha.
LeBron James was selected for the All Defensive Team, first or second, 6 times. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Jordan has 3 more. Here's the caveat to that stat, though. Jordan was All Defensive First Team all 9 times.
Mm.
But the LeBron Maniacs won't talk about that, though.
They won't.
The issue is, if you're going to throw out stats, you need to be unbiased. You need to be both sides of the coin when you're going to throw out stats. Because when someone comes back with stuff like this, they're arguing back up, oh, well, who cares about defense? Defense win championships, though.
That's true.
If defense never wins championships, then how come the Cavs are losing by almost 20 a night in these finals?
Let him play devil's advocate.
Can I play devil's advocate for Jordan stands as well?
Absolutely.
Not to say I wasn't a huge Jordan. Of course I was.
Of course.
Every kid was. But
I was a Reggie Miller fan, but that was because of the whole Knicks thing.
Oh yeah, that choking sign was
exactly.
Iconic. That was iconic. But Jordan, nobody ever talks about Jordan making the playoffs 3 years, his first 3 years with losing records and getting blasted in the first round. Nobody ever mentions that.
And that was one of the things that video actually talked about, actually. It did mention that Jordan never got out the first round his first couple of seasons. But who was he facing those first 3 playoff series, though?
I think one of those series he lost to Milwaukee at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. One of those losses was in Milwaukee. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and actually check the teams that he lost to. But one of those was a Milwaukee Bucks team that they got blasted by in the first round. And I cannot name one player on the Bucks from the entire decade of the 1980s. But nobody mentions that. Nobody mentions that, it took just as long for Jordan to get his first ring as for LeBron.
That was mentioned. That actually was mentioned.
Also, I mean, people always bring up who LeBron had to get to win championships and that Kobe never got out of the first round without Gasol or Shaq. Jordan never got out of the first round without Pippen.
This is true.
But see, it's one of those things, but why does it hurts LeBron's legacy and Kobe's legacy when you bring up playoff losses? Not even just finals losses. When you bring up playoff losses, because people they always bring up the Phoenix LA series.
Yep.
But why is it something where we chastise those two guys, but nobody acknowledges Jordan in the years where they fell short?
Because at that time, the only thing that people are looking at is the championship seasons with Jordan. At that point, that's all they're looking at. And granted, when we look at it, 10, 20 years from now, a lot of the basketball historians are going to look at it the same way. They're going to look at only the winning seasons for LeBron when he won championships.
Yeah, I mean, the further we get away from the 90s, I think the selective stat line is gonna is going to keep going up for Jordan.
Hmm.
You know, and not to say that he wasn't the greatest player that I've ever seen, which he was, but you know, we got to mention his shortcomings as well. I mean, if we're going to humanize the younger group, we got to humanize him too.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can go from 1985 here. I just pulled it up here.
He got
So
swept.
19,
He lost 1-3 in his first playoff run. That was against the Bucks.
right?
Then
They
the
lost to the
next two was
Celtics.
against the Celtics. Like the
Hmm.
Celtics by itself, we can definitely give him a pass on because that was a dominant Celtics. This was literally in the meat of Lakers Celtics.
Right. And then you look at the Pistons for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that was
I
during
mean,
the Pistons' rise to fame. The
right.
Pistons
So,
lost. The Pistons lost the championship that season, which is '88, and then '89 to '90 won the championship.
right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it's like, I think that's a good point. I mean, but Jordan didn't leave. He
Yeah.
stayed with it. He let the front office do what they had to do,
Yep.
brought in the right talent. He said, hey, I want these guys because they know how to play the game and they're 60-minute men. And they won. But I mean, obviously, we're going to beat a dead horse with this topic because it'll never stop until LeBron retires. I really don't think we're going to get better basketball till LeBron retires, and I think this could be the beginning of the end for LeBron Maniacs.
I think so too.
But I really, really do think that it could be time to move on to a little WWE.
Absolutely. All I'm gonna say is once again, the LeBron and Maniacs out there. If you're gonna say stats, look at it 360 degrees instead of 180. That's all I ask.
Absolutely. I mean,
That's
but
all I
that's,
ask.
I mean, this just goes back to my question. I mean, LeBron Maniacs versus Romanites. I mean, who are you taking? Like, who's worse? Who's better? Who has more? Who has more reason to be supported? I mean, what has Roman really done to earn such a push and earn all these Romanites?
I mean, other than being part of the Rock's family and being a guy who Vince loves to do stuff with his massive man balls because Vince McMahon loves big sweaty men. I mean,
Oh
honestly,
God!
nothing really catches my eye. If we're gonna be
Everybody keeps saying
frank,
he has the look,
he has the
and
look that really moves him. That sends
that's the
chills
part
up and down Vince's
up and
spine.
down Vince's spine.
I'm
Makes him
sexy.
feel like he's on cloud
Sexy.
nine.
Oh, I mean, he treats Vince so good, he'd be feeling easy like Sunday morning.
Wow. But
Ah
anywho,
ah ah ah.
hilarious. So we had backlash, which I'm sure
Extreme
everybody and
rules.
their mother. Oh God, why did I say backlash? Probably because
Because
that's what it felt like.
Because literally everything feels like it's backlash because nothing else really
Yeah.
matters. The name of the pay per view never matters anymore.
Sorry, sorry, Lingos. We had extreme rules, which again, I was excited to hear that there was a submission match, but to my delight, John Gotti said they tried to throw the match out twice for stupid non-submission match rules. Um, Overall, what did you think about the pay-per-view, Rich?
um, the pay per view itself, I would give a 6 out of 10.
That's
And
fair.
the only reason I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 is because I just think that it was just lackluster from start to finish. I don't think that there was a problem with any of the results from
There's
any of
one
the
though.
matches.
There's one. I have to one that I will say when you finish. Go ahead.
But I mean, for me personally, I don't think there's a problem with any of. I wanted Samoa Joe to win. Samoa
Mm-hmm.
Joe was the most logical pick out of that group to me, and I was happy to see him win. But it was just, you know, I don't know. I was happy to see it. There's a lot of Bailey fans out there, and everybody is all about the four horsewomen. But I love the push that Alexa Bliss gets. I love the recognition she gets. I would like to see her continue to have a long title reign on Raw. But it was outside of the results, it was just nothing special about that pay-per-view. The only thing in the ring that excited me that entire pay-per-view, the whole pay-per-view, start to finish, the only thing that excited me in the ring was the red arrow into the
Rings of Saturn.
Rings of Saturn. That was the only cool. That was the only cool spot that really was like, oh my god, to me the whole match, the whole pay per view.
I could understand that. I think the one thing that caught me by surprise, and I told the Professor John Gotti, the game RG master himself, is
He's pushing that last one. He is pushing that last one so hard too.
I think the one thing that caught me by surprise is the Hardy Boys dropping the tag team title so soon.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the one thing that was kind of weird. And usually when that stuff kind of happens, they just win it like the next night on Raw or SmackDown or whatever the case may be. It just didn't make any sense to have them lose it on such a
bland show. Yes.
Right, such a like save it for like SummerSlam or something. You know what I mean? Like something big or major. You know, something worthwhile. You know, this is just ugh. But I do agree with the Alexa Bliss thing. I think she's right now one of the best heel women. I think Charlotte. What's that?
I said, period. In the WWE, if we're talking wrestling or a whole or WWE, I would say in WWE, one of the best heels, period.
I mean, The Miz still is up there.
Yeah, but he's getting babyface pops now.
Yeah, he is because, I mean, it's because of the way they're pushing these guys, though. I mean, because a lot of times you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, all right, you know, they're a heel. You know, he had the whole rant on you know, Daniel Bryan, and he's on his way up to the top now. And then it's like, oh, he goes up against John Cena. And now it's like,
momentum. Destroyed his momentum.
Yeah. But what I will say is that I can agree. Just reading over the comments, like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing because I was watching the game, what a great basketball game it was.
Absolutely.
But
it was a great thing I was able to watch them both at the same time.
Without question. I feel like we are starting to see the same things over and over. It's Extreme Rules, but nothing, because they don't allow the same things that they used to allow in the 90s and the early 2000s. Extreme Rules mean nothing. Extreme Rules just means, hey, more sweating and spitting in the ring. There's not going to be a lot of blood. Is it time to
get rid of the name Extreme Rules? Because it
I
didn't felt like Extreme at all. It felt also ran, if not bland, rules.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Iowa rules.
I mean, it's just not.
I mean, we had a match where a stipulation was if someone gets DQ'd, he loses the title at an event called Extreme Rules.
That's crazy.
Where anything goes.
A submission match is a nice gimmicky match, but it's Extreme Rules. There's nothing extreme about submissions.
Nope.
True. Where's the garbage cans and the dumpsters going off the platform?
Only weapons used on that event was Kindle sticks. And a table being, plowed.
I don't know. I just feel like it's losing its flair. Woo! I just don't believe. I don't believe it. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to watch and very unbearable.
No, absolutely, it is.
You know.
I mean, it makes me just want to, go into my bathroom and take a massive donkey because of how much it just gives me indigestion.
Like, I literally feel like I'm going to throw up right now. I knew that was going to get you.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry.
You broke kayfabe.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe he just said that. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
God. No, but no, it's Like, ugh, it's so terrible. The other thing that I saw this week that was interesting was when you sent me that video of AJ Styles playing Seth Rollins in football and Madden.
Yes.
That was entertaining.
The
Up, up,
salt
down, down.
was real. JRich, I didn't
Up,
know if
up,
you had a
down,
chance to
down.
watch the video. I actually subscribe and watch a lot of the up, down, down content. That's the side business that Xavier Woods does. Shout out to Xavier Woods, by the way to make
Absolutely.
video game relevant in the world of wrestling. Think back 10, 20 years ago, the only thing that they will talk about as far as video games is just the wrestling games. But even that wasn't really promoted that much. Nowadays, we got them promoting them playing video games, whether it's old school stuff and newer stuff. They have people coming out with video game music. TJP
Mm-hmm.
came a long way.
No, definitely. But I mean, that's just the way I feel about wrestling. I mean, that was the most exciting part. Watching them play Madden and not, just watching them as regular human beings rather than phenomenal and Seth freaking Rollins, which is starting to get a little old because they're not really doing anything with their characters. And it goes back to my point where there either needs to be an introduction of more titles or some old guys got to go. And now we're not even talking about part-timers anymore now because Brock's obviously going to lose the title eventually. And if it's the Samoa Joe, that's great. Most likely it'll be whoever wins the Money in the Bank, which I'm hoping is not Roman, and as their final stance to let
Well,
somebody else.
Money in the Bank is just SmackDown, if
It's
I
SmackDown
understand
though,
correctly.
bro. Sorry, it's
Okay.
just SmackDown.
Okay. Really? But this wasn't this SmackDown's pay-per-view here?
No, this was Raw pay-per-view.
Hmm.
See, you got
This is
confused because of the Superstar shakeup.
this is stupid.
True story. True story. I actually, when I turned on the WWE Network yesterday, I turned on the pay per view. I just clicked. I'm just used to going in and click and play
Right.
and watching now. And we were watching Backlash for the first 5 minutes before I realized that it wasn't the right pay per view.
That's what I'm telling you. It's so weird. Like,
It wasn't until I heard Shinsuke Nakamura's music until I realized, wait a
wait a
minute.
minute, he's not in
This
this one.
this is yeah. So I mean, it was bad. I mean, even Trash Bag Ambrose could have. This is a pay per view for him. Like Extreme Rules that's got Dean Ambrose written all over it. As
Yeah.
And they put him
garbage
in
as
the
he
most
is.
non-extreme match in the whole card.
And he lost.
And he lost because of the ref. Like, let's talk about that. Like, what's up with these refs' dusty finishes?
The only way to sell it.
I
First of all,
think that
that's
I
stupid.
like what they try to do because I think that everybody and their mama predicted that slap coming from Maurice before the
Oh,
pay per view started.
well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, the ref walking around the ring to make it seem like he was going to call the bell to DQ Ambrose to only run back into the ring after the skull-crushing finale to count the 1, 2, 3 for the Miz. Like, that's what I'm talking about, the dusty finish. Like, that was just a terrible finish. It put too much
That's
emphasis
just
on the ref. Even throughout the whole match, like, they put too much emphasis on the ref.
that's just the product that we get these days. That's the
Like,
product that we
like the
get.
indies can do something like that, but the referees there have much better personality because they allowed them to actually develop characters along with the actual matches happening. That's why you
I mean,
get little spots where like a referee would double clothesline the Young Bucks kind of thing, because they build that towards that point to where the referee is able to do that during the match, but it doesn't put him in a Joey Crawford kind of situation.
I mean, what can we say? The WWE is turned into the NFL. Excuse me, they made me yawn. The NFL, which there obviously is no competition, no real competition. You got the arena, you got Canadian, you had some other small leagues, but
The
nobody's
XFL?
got the
The lingerie football league.
wow. No one's got the clout and or cash to really compete with the WWE.
No doubt. And I mentioned this earlier too to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
If Ring of Honor was able to get the financial backing.
From the Professor John Gotti.
Gosh, Chris, be on standby. Be on standby. He's not there yet, but he's almost there. But if they was able to get the financial backing,
Yeah.
they can really, either overtake WWE at top prize or, really make WWE step their game up, a la what happened during the, Monday Night Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I want the same things, but I'm trying to say is they're too complacent. They rest on their laurels too much. So they can give us crap product, but the problem is we're still going to buy it. People still go to the shows. People still, subscribe to the network. People still gives all their YouTube videos over 1 million views. Like there's nothing. They're the main game. And only marks like us are really watching the indies. It's not casual fans.
I wonder how it is to be in the indies. And what seems like every week, every 2 weeks, every month, so on and so forth, somebody leaves and goes to NXT, and you're sitting there like, man, a week ago, that guy was our champion.
Yep.
And now he's just a pawn in NXT on the training chessboard. That's pretty demoralizing. Like, you are a champion here. Like, think about when, Kevin Owens came over, a few people like these are champions. That's why I'm like, I'm hoping that people like Ricochet, who could be one of the best wrestlers, out there. I mean, you want to get him before he want to get him before he, goes into painkillers and drugs and all other stuff. Before he turns 35 years old and can't do nothing. Because this is going to happen. It's almost like you're running for president to go into the WWE. You got to be born in America or not born in America, but you got to be at least 35 years old.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I mean, but I don't know what else to say. I mean, I don't know. I got nothing. So, I mean, I'm actually good with final thoughts at this time because WWE is so depressing.
Well, I know, JRich, wrestling is your forte, so anything else you need to talk about with wrestling right now, this is your time. Put it out there. Tell the people. Teach the people.
You are the game. You don't want to play you.
Terrible. Okay, we're gonna... No. Sir.
No?
No.
I mean, we all can't beat the Professor John Guy, the King of IG, the Troll Master, the Data Analyzing Ninja himself, the Conqueror.
Honestly, that means nothing.
But JRich, plus.
I mean, other than that, I think how much are you guys looking forward to Money in the Bank? What do you guys think about the women's divas Money in the Bank?
I've never liked the concept of Money in the Bank personally because I just think of it like I feel like they never use it properly. Like a couple years ago, let's say when Sheamus won it, and then all of a sudden he came out and he cashed in, he beat Roman Reigns, and then he lost on TV for free. And the same confetti that fell the night before fell on Monday Night Raw, and now all of a sudden Roman Reigns is a 2-time or 3-time champion, and it was just like, come on, guys, come on. But it's gonna give an extra element of surprise with the women's division. I wish that obviously Asuka was up in the main roster already. And I know Ember Moon is hurt, but I would love to have some other people outside of Bayley at this point because,
I believe Ember Moon came back.
She did come back. I thought she was still on the shelf for a couple more weeks. But I'm hoping that we get some of those people because they're not even using Mickey James anymore. They're not using people to their utmost talent.
Mickey James. Ooh. She's like the Jericho of the women's division right now. She's just there to put other people over. I can't. I
But we
can't see her
can't have.
in this role.
And again, I don't know who's on what show anymore because they keep moving around. But I think Charlotte's on SmackDown now.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before she's women's champion. I think that's the obvious pick they're going to go with in this Money in the Bank.
And they shouldn't. I mean, they shouldn't.
Unless they hit you with in the head with Lana out of nowhere.
That would be too crazy.
Who was
She
just
can't wrestle.
added to the match.
She's just there for,
Fan service.
I don't want Helen to shoot me a
Eye candy.
Skype message, but she's just there for a certain reason. I mean, she's not really a wrestler, so she's like the I want to say Tori Wilson or freaking what's the other girl's name?
Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Anne
Actually,
Marie,
I was just
maybe?
thinking about it. I didn't want to admit to it, but then when he said it, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not as bad as Stacy Keibler, but definitely Tori Wilson.
I never thought that. Never mind.
Yeah,
Definitely
let's
Tory.
just leave that one alone, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone.
For me, I like the Money in the Bank for one reason and one reason only. It allows someone who never had a shot to get a shot. I started to dislike it once you see people like Randy Orton win it and Sheamus win it.
True. That's true.
People who already did it already. Like seeing like Mr. Kennedy win it was great. Seeing, Damian Sandow win it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The result afterwards was terrible, but hey, this is something new. We didn't see this before yet.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to win the Royal Rumble. They're not.
Well, it depends. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see who's going to win the Royal Rumble, the next one. Do they still do the King of the Ring?
Nope, that's gone. That's dead.
Gosh, no. I missed that match. I missed that whole tournament so much.
That's what needs to happen because that would reinvent the Intercontinental Division. Again, I think that they're making a big mistake by not adding more people to the Cruiserweight division, such as Xavier Woods, Kalisto, and some of these other pissants that aren't doing anything.
Aleister Black could be in the Cruiserweight division. He's 205.
Move them over. You can lie and say they're 205. I don't care. Alex Wright used to look like he was like 200-something pounds, but he's a cruiserweight in WCW.
The greatest dance in the history of wrestling.
Yes.
Alex Wright he looked like he was like 2-something, and he was a cruiserweight out there. I mean,
linebacker.
Come on. Throw him in there. It could be 210, 210 live.
I think that what they started to do with John Cena is what they need to do again with the mid card, and they need to put bigger stars, put the mid cards titles on bigger stars to build the prestige of those titles up a little more than they have been. Because really, everybody who's been winning these titles is just placeholders.
Who's the U.S. title champion right now? Is it still Kevin Owens?
It is Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens. And I think that Kevin Owens was having his first match tonight against Shinsuke.
Which they said this is the first time in history those two ever competed against each other in a match, which I call BS.
The WWE.
Well, they need to say WWE then.
Told you they can't say that.
They need to.
They can't.
They need to.
Wrestling does not exist. It does not exist outside of WWE.
Yeah,
Wrestling does not exist.
But the problem is that they're talking about, New Japan,
right,
all the time. So you can't say it doesn't exist outside of WWE if they're talking about Japan all the time.
New Japan is different.
That's not Indies. That's WWE Japan.
That's true.
There's
He
no
makes a good
WWE
point.
Japan. If that was the case, then we would have had Kenny Omega over here, and then they would have, did terrible with him, like they did the first time he was there. Would have had the Young Bucks in there, made them basically job to Cesaro and Sheamus to make them look stronger. They'll have them be pretty strong for a month, and that's about it.
I'm not a
So,
big Young Bucks fan.
yeah, I'm not really either, but that's a whole nother story. So we would definitely have to revisit that on another Ring of Honor day. Maybe we have a big talk about the Indies. That could be another topic of discussion.
Red Dragons.
Hilarious, hilarious. But
Hey, they started to fluff him up too, and you know it. They really try to sabotage him. It's the fact that they
but
actually started to listen to the fans for Red Dragon. Oh, and for those that don't know, you said American Dragon or Red Dragon, because American Dragon is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Red Dragon is that's the tag team.
Yeah,
That's
that's
one
the
of the
tag
other
team.
tag teams.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, it's American Dragon. I don't think Red Dragon ever went to WWE, to my knowledge.
No.
sweet.
That was just my comparison. I like them a lot more than the Bucks. Um,
There's a lot of good tag teams out there in the Indies right now.
Absolutely, but you don't want them to come to WWE because the division stinks. I mean, where have the Baldy brothers been? And
the
don't you
Revival.
dare don't you dare say which one.
I know which one you're
Actually-
talking about. They actually got jobbed yesterday to the Big Show and Enzo.
Oh my god.
So
Oh, never mind. You're talking about those Baldy
yeah,
brothers.
no,
Baldy
I
Soul.
used to do the same thing actually. I used to say, who
Don't
the
do that.
Baldies? You thought the Revival? He's like, who the heck is the Revival? I'm like, they're the best tag team NXT that you ever seen.
Now look at them. What are they doing now?
Well, one of them got injured, so you can't really say that.
Ever.
Come on.
They took the New Day off the shelf for a couple of months. I mean, they put the New Day on the shelf for a couple of months and sent them to SmackDown.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
I actually knew one of the Revival. He was actually a local wrestler here in North Carolina, and a guy, one of my best friends. He's actually in my group, the Game Runners on Facebook. And he was actually a world champion in the local federation here. He used to have long hair and RVD tights. Great guy.
Hilarious.
Nice.
Hilarious.
I,
But
I think
we're getting
that's
close.
quite the field trip for the doctor to be able to go out there and check out some indies.
Absolutely. But I think we probably getting close to the big finish and some final thoughts. JRich, any final thoughts as we wrap up tonight's show? Looking at the obviously everything we talked about today, the finals, as well as the WWE Extreme Rules. Any final thoughts to share with the people?
I think that we're about to see the start of the mega push for Samoa Joe, and I for one am ready for that. As much as I don't like a lot of the things WWE is doing, I am definitely ready to see the rise of Samoa Joe. And that's the note that I'm going to end on there.
John Gotti, I know you had several final thoughts.
Yeah, I guess I'll start off with I want to give a personal shout out to, a big fan of the show, my boy, your boy, Justin Wong. He is actually flying out for enthusiastic fans to Evolution 2017 next month. He's definitely a nominee for the Bud Light All Stars. It's an award that is going to be given at Evo, and he definitely has my vote for it. Class act by Justin Wong. Kudos to him.
Uh,
Also want to give give our thoughts and prayers here for Debates Among Friends out to Stephen A. Smith and Kenny the Jet Smith. They both recently lost their mothers. Despite all the BS that I give Stephen A. Smith on a weekly basis, it's all kayfabe, and it's more to keep things fresh and hot. But I mean, situations like these, gotta take a back pedal of the hazing and the trolling, and offer my condolences and my respect to both of them.
Excellent. And of course, for my final topic here, final thought, definitely would like to give a prayer to Korean rapper Top, whose real name is Choi Sun. Um, obviously, having some major things going on in his life, definitely want to pray for him and his family. And of course, I hope he gets a speedy recovery.
Wow, we really ended the show on a down note, didn't we, fellas?
Well, that's what
Ouch.
we bring the song in.
You know what? Real quickly, before we do the song, I want to give a shout out to my boy IFC Yipes because he was called out on stream a few weeks ago. I had to get back into watching a lot of the local streams for Street Fighter V and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because there's some stuff that's happening and he got called out and the look on his face like someone needs to sign IOC Yipes to be a manager for WWE because his reactions was absolutely golden. If you haven't had a
Until he
chance to
pulled up.
watch it, look for it. It's on
Uh,
Base Monster. It is absolutely incredible. He went from jovial to serious so fast. It's not even funny.
and, and Booker T.
Well, I mean, you know.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'm gonna leave that one awkwardly paused.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but go ahead.
But tonight's track is from an artist named Lincidus. The track is Soundscapes. Make sure you catch and support their music. We put the links out there in the YouTube description, and we'll put it out there in the Twitch description as well too. Be sure to catch us every single Wednesday. Same debates among friends time. Same the best among friends channel. I am the Professor John Gotti. You can follow me on Twitter at Ken86.
And I am the doctor. You can follow me at TL Double. JRich, any Twitter handles out there?
Okay. Is JRich? You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. President 86.
Sweet.
Follow the group Game Runners, the Game Runners on Facebook. Those who play WWE Champions, join the faction, the Game Runners on WWE Champions. Great game, by the way.
Outstanding. Probably one of the best shout outs ever. Like, I don't think anybody ever prepared.
Yes, everyone else would just stumble, so, massive kudos to that. I have to give a big shout out to the doctor for finding the talent tonight. Big shout outs. But
Thank you.
thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll leave you with your track, and we'll catch you again next week. Peace and love.